Imagine a world without books. A world where the written word was a rare and precious commodity, almost like gold or jewels. Or a world where books were so rare and expensive that only the very wealthy could afford them. These books were often displayed as symbols of status and power, locked away in private collections. This was the reality for most people before Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press. His revolutionary invention changed the course of history, making books more accessible to the masses.
Before Gutenberg, books were painstakingly copied by hand, often by monks in monasteries. These dedicated scribes would spend countless hours, days, and even years to produce a single manuscript. This process was slow and laborious, taking months or even years to create a single copy. Each book was a unique work of art, with intricate illustrations and beautiful calligraphy.
As a result, books were incredibly expensive and rare. They were often kept under lock and key, accessible only to a privileged few. Knowledge was largely confined to the elite few who had access to these precious texts. Scholars and nobles were among the lucky ones who could read and learn from these books. The vast majority of people lived and died without ever holding a book in their hands. For them, knowledge was passed down orally, through stories and traditions, rather than through the written word. In towns and villages, news and information were spread by word of mouth, often by town criers or through public gatherings. The written word was a mystery to most, a distant concept reserved for the elite. Education was informal, with children learning from their elders and through communal storytelling. The idea of a book as a source of knowledge was beyond their everyday experience. People relied on practical skills and hands-on learning to navigate their world. Artisans and craftsmen passed down their knowledge through apprenticeships, ensuring that skills were preserved and passed on to the next generation. This was the world before Gutenberg, a world where the written word was a rare treasure and knowledge was a privilege of the few. His invention would soon change all of that, democratizing knowledge and transforming society forever. Johannes Gutenberg was a German inventor who lived in the 15th century. Born around 1400 in Mainz, Germany, he grew up in a time when books were painstakingly copied by hand, making them rare and expensive. This limited access to knowledge and education to only the wealthy and the clergy. He dreamed of a way to make books more accessible to everyone. Gutenberg envisioned a world where knowledge could be shared widely, breaking down the barriers that kept information confined to the elite. His dream was to democratize learning and literacy.
The Gutenberg's breakthrough was the development of a printing press using movable type. This was a monumental shift from the laborious hand-copying process. The press allowed for the rapid production of books, making it possible to produce multiple copies quickly and efficiently. This meant that individual letters could be arranged to create words and then rearranged to create new words and pages. Each letter was cast in metal, making them durable and reusable. This innovation drastically reduced the time and cost of producing book.
This revolutionary idea had been explored in Asia centuries earlier, with woodblock printing and movable type in China and Korea. However, Gutenberg's innovation lay in creating a system efficient and adaptable enough for mass production in Europe. His use of metal type and a press mechanism was a game changer. He combined his knowledge of metalworking with his understanding of inks and paper to create a printing system that was both durable and efficient. Gutenberg's press used oil-based ink, which adhered better to metal type and paper, producing clearer and more durable prints. His invention not only revolutionized the production of books, but also paved the way for the spread of ideas and knowledge, fueling the Renaissance and the Reformation. The impact of Gutenberg's genius is still felt today, as his invention laid the foundation for the modern knowledge-based society. Gutenberg's printing press was of engineering for its time. It combined several existing technologies in a new and ingenious way. The press used a large screw to apply pressure to a printing plate, which transferred ink to paper. The movable type allowed for the quick and easy creation of new pages, significantly speeding up the printing process. With his printing press, Gutenberg could produce hundreds of copies of a single book in the time it would take a scribe to copy just one. The impact of Gutenberg's invention was immediate and profound. For the first time in history, books could be mass-produced. making them significantly more affordable. The cost of books plummeted, and they became available to a much wider audience. People who had never dreamed of owning a book could now afford to purchase their own copies of the books, classical literature, and scientific texts. This explosion in book production had a transformative effect on European society. Section 5. A more literate world. With books becoming more accessible, more and more people had the opportunity to learn to read. Literacy rates began to rise, slowly but surely. As more people learned to read, the demand for even more books grew, creating a virtuous cycle of learning and knowledge dissemination. This newfound literacy wasn't limited to scholars and clergymen. Merchants, artisans, and even people in rural communities could now access the written word. The printing press had democratized knowledge. Section 6. The Renaissance and the flow of ideas. The printing press played a pivotal role in the Renaissance, a period of great intellectual and artistic flourishing in Europe.
With the ability to quickly spread ideas and information, the Renaissance witnessed an explosion of creativity and scholarship.
New discoveries and theories, once confined to private letters and manuscripts, could now be disseminated rapidly throughout Europe and beyond.
The printing press facilitated the exchange of ideas that fueled the Renaissance's advancements in art, science, and literature.
It broke down intellectual barriers and connected thinkers across geographical boundaries. Section 7. Reformation, Revolution, and Education. This section delves into the transformative periods of history that reshaped societies and the way knowledge was disseminated. From the Reformation to the Scientific Revolution and the evolution of education, these eras were marked by profound changes that continue to influence our world today. Gutenberg's invention of the printing press had far-reaching consequences, shaping the course of history in profound ways. Before the printing press, books were painstakingly copied by hand, making them rare and expensive. Gutenberg's press revolutionized this process, allowing for the mass production of books and the rapid spread of information. This democratization of knowledge meant that ideas could travel faster and reach a broader audience than ever before.
The Protestant Reformation, spearheaded by Martin Luther, was significantly aided by the printing press. Luther's ideas, which challenged the practices and authority of the Catholic Church, were quickly printed and distributed, reaching people across Europe. This not only facilitated the spread of Reformation ideas, but also empowered individuals to question and think critically about religious doctrines.
Luther's 95 Theses, a document criticizing practices of the Catholic Church, was rapidly printed and disseminated throughout Europe, sparking widespread debate and challenging the authority of the Church. This document became a catalyst for religious reform and led to the establishment of Protestantism as a major branch of Christianity. The printing press played a crucial role in this religious upheaval, making it possible for Luther's message to reach a vast audience.
The printing press also played a crucial role in the scientific revolution. This period saw a dramatic shift in the way people understood the world, with scientists challenging traditional beliefs and making groundbreaking discoveries. The ability to print and distribute scientific works allowed for the rapid exchange of ideas and findings, fostering a collaborative environment that was essential for scientific progress.
Scientists like Nicholas Copernicus, Galileo Galilei, and Isaac Newton relied on the printing press to share their groundbreaking discoveries and theories. Copernicus's heliocentric model, Galileo's observations of the heavens, and Newton's laws of motion and gravity were all disseminated through printed works, allowing these revolutionary ideas to reach and influence other scholars and the public.
The printing press allowed for the standardization of scientific knowledge, helping to establish a shared understanding among scholars across Europe. This standardization was crucial for the development of modern science, as it ensured that scientists were working with the same information and could build upon each other's work. The ability to print and distribute scientific texts also meant that knowledge was no longer confined to a select few, but could be accessed by a wider audience.
Education also underwent a transformation thanks to the printing press. Before the advent of printed books, education was limited to the elite who could afford handwritten manuscripts. The printing press made books more affordable and accessible, leading to an increase in literacy rates and the establishment of more schools and universities. This democratization of education meant that knowledge was no longer the exclusive domain of the wealthy.
With books more readily available, schools and universities could be established to educate a wider range of students. This period saw the rise of educational institutions that aimed to provide a more comprehensive and standardized education. The availability of printed textbooks meant that students had access to the same materials, ensuring a more consistent quality of education across different regions.
Standardized textbooks emerged, ensuring a more consistent quality of education. These textbooks covered a wide range of subjects and were used to teach students in a systematic way. The printing press not only made education more accessible, but also helped to create a more educated and informed society. The impact of the printing press on education cannot be overstated, as it laid the foundation for the modern educational system we have today. Section 8. Gutenberg's enduring legacy. Johannes Gutenberg's invention of the printing press was a watershed moment in human history.
It democratized knowledge, fueled the Renaissance, and paved the way for both the Reformation and the scientific revolution.
Before Gutenberg, knowledge was a privilege, a closely guarded treasure, accessible only to a select few.
Gutenberg's invention shattered this paradigm, making knowledge a public good, something to be shared and disseminated widely.
His legacy is all around us, in the books we read, the newspapers we consume, and the very screens on which you are reading these words. Section 9. Explore more. Share the knowledge. The story of Gutenberg and his printing press is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and its ability to shape the course of history. To learn more about this fascinating invention and its impact on the world, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the impact of the printing press? How do you think it continues to shape our world today?